Hi, this is Chris Davis of Gear and Android Community, and today we're looking at how the HTC Sensation, brand new on the market, matches up with the Samsung Galaxy S2. Now the Galaxy S2 is one of our favourite Android handsets at the moment. It's got a huge 4.3-inch display, 8 megapixel camera with full HD video recording on the back, and of course it's also got 1.2 gigahertz dual core processor inside. But then again, the HTC Sensation, that's not much of a slouch either. It's also got a 4.3-inch display, except this one's running at QHD, so that's 960 by 540 resolution, as opposed to the 800 by 480 of the Samsung Galaxy S2. It's also got an 8 megapixel camera on the back with a dual LED flash, and it'll also record full HD video. And inside it's got its own 1.2 gigahertz dual core processor, though this time one of Qualcomm's Snapdragon chips. So how do the two match up? Now, as you can see, obviously size-wise, the Galaxy S2 and the Sensation, they're roughly the same length. Actually, I think in terms of exact length, the Sensation is actually supposed to be ever so slightly longer, but because of the tapered edges, as you can see, rather than the blunt edges of the Samsung, it does actually look like it's shorter. It's slightly narrower. Again, the short curved edges help on that, but it is thicker. The Galaxy S2 is one of the thinnest handsets around at the moment, 8.49 millimeters, and the Sensation is about 11 millimeters thick. So, you know, you are looking at a slightly bigger handset, though arguably one which is feels a bit better in the hand. It's got this kind of combination metal and soft touch plastic shell, whereas the Galaxy S2 is plastic. Both have toughened glass on the front, but you know, in your pocket, in your hand, the Sensation does feel a sturdier device. It also gets the latest HTC Sense interface. As you can see, there's the lock screens, Android 2.3.3 Gingerbread on both devices. What HTC have done is they've given it this kind of launcher ring, which we saw on the Flyer last week, and you also get 4 different shortcuts which you can drag directly to that launcher ring to kickstart the app itself. Now, Samsung's version is TouchWiz, and that has a slightly less exciting lock screen. And the iconography, some people think that it can look a little bit too much like the iPhone, a little bit trying too much like iOS, and it's a little bit gimmicky, though the bright colours do show off pretty well the Super AMOLED Plus display. Now, what you get with the Sensation, of course, is an LCD display, but that higher resolution. And we have to say that actually, despite the difference, while we do prefer the kind of the inkier blacks of the Galaxy S2, and as you can see that, you know, the viewing angles are better on the Samsung device with a lot less kind of backlight bleeding there. The panel on the Sensation is pretty good, and it's also a kind of brighter with the whites. You can't really see on the video, but sort of next to each other, if we go into a web page, for instance, the two pages, again, maybe it doesn't show so well here, it looks kind of a bit like it's got a sort of yellowish tint on the video, but in person it's actually pretty clean, though obviously you don't get the same sort of rich colour saturation as you do on the Samsung. In terms of pure speed, if we benchmark both of these, and obviously this isn't running on battery power, this is running on battery power, so it won't quite be the same. If we load up both Quadrant Advanced on both and run them through, what we found is that the Galaxy S2's processor is slightly ahead of the one in the Sensation. It comes in kind of roughly 3,000 or so on the Samsung 3,500 overall, whereas about 2,500 or so on the Sensation. Now, both have got 1 GB of RAM. The Samsung has got 16 GB of onboard storage, whereas the HTC does have less onboard storage, got about a gigabyte for your apps, and it also comes with an 8 GB micro SD card, and that slots in this whole front section here, slides out of the back panel to give you access to the battery and the micro SD card slot, whereas on the Samsung you pull off on this rather thin plasticky back panel there. So as you can see, the results are in. Might not quite be able to focus on that. The results are up on the Gear site anyway. 3844 is coming in on the Samsung there, 2270 on the Sensation, and in terms of the CPU scores, 5254 on the Sensation and 8780 on the Galaxy S2. So that's quite a difference, despite the fact they're both 1.2 GHz dual-core chips. There will be sort of seeing how performance of the Sensation matches up to that sort of in daily use. Feeling that actually those numbers might not quite match up entirely with the end-use performance of the phone. So we'll be putting both handsets head-to-head, seeing how they match. In terms of portability, the Sensation maybe has it slightly, unless you're a fan of particularly skinny jeans. Display for outdoor visibility is better on the Galaxy S2. In terms of things like web pages, it is better on the Sensation just because of all those extra pixels. Both have similar connectivity. Two excellent flagship phones. The full review of the Galaxy S2 is up on /gear right now. The full review of the HTC Sensation will be up very soon. Thanks for watching.